Women educators are natural givers, pouring into their students, their families, and communities. But what about pouring into you? This is the Educator Sanctuary, where we help you ditch the guilt and unapologetically put yourself at the top of your list. I'm Dr. Leah, educator, mindset coach, and your guide to creating a life where you align with your purpose and reclaim your power. So if you're ready to set boundaries and step fully into the woman you're meant to be, you're definitely in the right place. Let's get into it. Hey, and welcome back to the Educator Sanctuary. You already know that this is the space where we have big conversations, mindset shifts, personal growth, and the things that help us live and move more intentionally. Today, I really cannot wait to talk to you about something that people often touch on, but rarely dive deep into. Something that most of us struggle with, and for good reason, but also not good for us at the same time. I wonder if you're trying to turn your wheels and think about what it is. You already know, though, if I am talking about it, it is something that I've struggled with too. And so I'm just going to be transparent and put it all out in the open. I've touched on this before, but today I do really want to dive deeper because life can sometimes throw tricky situations at us. And we don't always notice when we're staying attached to people, attached to situations, or even attached to emotions that no longer contribute to our growth. And that is why I am doing a deep dive into letting go of what no longer serves you. I want to start with the struggle of letting go, because I know for sure that all of us have situations where we feel like we have to keep certain people in our lives, or maybe we think that we don't have a choice in holding on to certain obligations. But I am a firm believer that the longer we wait to be able to make a decision to part with people or situations, the longer it's actually going to take us to live the lives that we really want to live. Now, for sure, I'm definitely not here to make it sound easy, because it's not. We all know that when people say, oh, let go what no longer serves you, that it's really hard. But if we think about how many times we stayed in situations that were not right for us, just because we were afraid, just because we felt guilt, just because we wanted to avoid confrontation, then we also know how long we stayed in a position where we weren't happy. Maybe that was a job that you absolutely despise and you're afraid to let it go because you got to pay your bills, right? So you stay in that job, allow it to drain all of your energy, but then also it's such an energy suck that you don't go home to look for something better, something that would light you up, something that would probably pay more. You stay there. Maybe it's the friendship that you have for years, but deep down, you know, it's no longer bringing you joy. You find yourself forcing small talk, or worse, not even wanting to answer the phone or catch up for dinner or drink when asked. You avoid real conversations, but you keep holding on because you're afraid of hurting their feelings. But in the process, you're the one that's more hurt every day by holding on. And guess what? It doesn't even have to be as deep as these situations. It literally could be as simple as holding on to those clothes that you know you can't fit anymore. You know, those old jeans, the old tops with the intentions that, oh, I'm just going to lose weight and I'll be able to wear those again one day. But let's be honest, it's been like 5 or 10 years and you're still holding on to the hope, not realizing that those clothes are really just adding to your clutter and they're not serving you anymore. I remember speaking with someone, I feel like it was more than about 5 years ago, but I was doing a deep dive in my closet and I was, going through things and deciding what I was going to keep, what I was going to throw away, what I was going to give to Goodwill or one of those places. And I kept picking up shirts, but it was like, I can't see myself in this shirt anymore. But at the same time, the shirt was practically brand new, literally nothing wrong with it. It seemed way too good to just toss. I really didn't even like the shirt anymore. I didn't like the print. I didn't see myself in it. I was wondering where I was at that particular time in my life that made me like the shirt, right? But at the same time, I also wanted to keep it. So these are the things that I'm talking about when I say we like to keep things that no longer serve us. I get it. Honestly, I do, because I've been in this situation so many times, and I know the thoughts and the feelings that I had when I was choosing what to do with a particular person, situation, or even just those items in my closet. And I think that we hold on a lot of times for fear of change. Maybe it is the fear of the unknown. Maybe it is the fear of disappointing others. Maybe it's guilt. And other times it's this desire to hold on to the past, to hold on to who we were, to not face the uncertainty of what's going to happen if I do let this go, right? So even with the point of the clothing in the closet, sometimes it's now we have to spend more money and go buy new clothes. And maybe we have to face our new bodies in that dressing room mirror. And maybe we might even have to face the disappointment of picking out things that don't fit us or that don't look the way we want them to on our new bodies. And so we hold on to the memories of, I remember when I used to look cute in that outfit, or when I used to, feel the most confident about myself. And again, I get it. I have been there. I'm with you. But I want to make it clear that just because something has been a part of our lives for a while, it doesn't mean that it has to continue to be. Our lives are about growth and evolutions, and sometimes that means letting go of the things, the habits, and the people that no longer fit the person and the identity that we align with today. I want to talk about a story, and actually it's a story that brought me here to this very conversation, because when it happened, I was like, oh my gosh, this has to be in the podcast. I literally texted myself a message and was like, girl, this needs to be the next topic of the podcast. Yes, me talking to me. But I had been struggling with something, and this is so very recent, but I had been struggling with something for about 6 months. I knew that I needed to remove this situation from my life, but I just kept telling myself that I needed to be considerate about others. I was personally doing everything I could to support someone else in the best way possible. I was making concessions that I knew I shouldn't have made. I was trying to find help to handle the situation. When I tell you that I did everything, I literally showed up physically, emotionally, mentally, and even financially to support the situation that I knew was not beneficial for me. And the situation was actually weighing on me so heavily that it really did start to affect my day-to-day life, including my weekends, including time that I should have been enjoying, sometimes my dreams. Like, it was really affecting me a lot. And I started to rationalize a timeline, telling myself just a little more time and, I'll let it go. But then something happened. And I really do think that it was because I had been speaking into existence for so long and saying to myself, like, this situation is not serving me. I really don't like it. I really need to let it go. That I feel like the universe just orchestrated an entire scenario beyond my control to just make it disappear, because it was like, girl, you keep telling yourself that you don't need this in your life, but at the same time, you keep trying to embrace it. You keep trying to make it better. You keep trying to go above and beyond. And I don't know how many signs I need to give you to tell you to just let it go, to just trust that it's going to be better when you let it go. And to be honest, when the situation disappeared beyond my control, I actually wasn't mad about it. It brought so much relief to my life. And when I reflected on it, I thought about how much I had put into it, like physically, emotionally, mentally, everything. And how the universe just allowed the other party involved to be upset because I was no longer bending in ways that served them. And here's what I realized. I realized actually how much I had grown in the process, because the me, even just a few years ago, would have been so upset. And I would have felt like I needed to say words that would have made them want to see all that I had done, all that I had put in, and how little they contributed. But I didn't. I didn't want to. I wasn't mad, and I absolutely had no desire to make this person see my point. I didn't feel the need to tell them how much I had shown up for them. I didn't feel the need to explain myself. Like, I was so proud of me for being able to just say, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like, whoa, weights lifted up off of my shoulder. And that is such a powerful act of self-love and respect. And I would like to say that pretty much all of 2024, I had just been boundaries, and feeling so good about my boundaries, feeling so good about showing up and choosing me first. And what I realized is that walking away from something is not a bad thing. We're actually creating space for what's next. And really, if we learn to reframe it, that is the real power in letting go, because we're making space. Letting go is like the deep cleaning. It's not just about getting rid of the old stuff, but making room for the new. When you let go of the things that drain you, the things that are not aligned with your actual self right now or your future self, then you're actively making space for these new opportunities to come into your life, the new people to come into your life, the new possibilities that are made for you, that are ready for your growth so that it can come to you. I know that letting go is tough, and again, because I've just gone through this, but realistically, it really just blocks the flow of this new energy that is going to change the trajectory of where we are now to where we want to be. So if you're willing to hold on to it, it's also like saying, I'm not ready to step into that next chapter of my life. I'm not ready to grow and evolve and expand. I'm not ready to move forward. And that's actually a disheartening place to be, because we begin to have these internal conflicts. The conflict of knowing that we don't have everything we want, and not even realizing that we don't have it because we haven't made room for it. So the question becomes, how do we even begin to let go of what's no longer serving us? A lot of times when people say let go of what no longer serves you, we often tie it to things that are noticeably bad. But some things don't have to be bad at all. It's just not getting us to where we want to be. And so we have to have a framework to recognize what is actually holding you back, right? So thinking about it and being transparent with yourself. Is it a person that's holding you back? Is it a job? Is it an old belief, or is it a habit? And this is a particular step that actually requires brutal honesty, and it might be uncomfortable, but it's so necessary for change. I spent at least 4 years asking, what is in me that's blocking me from receiving everything that I know I deserve? And sometimes that's a difficult question to ask, because we often don't want to know the answer, because nobody wants to see the side of themselves that's just not that good. Another thing is being able to acknowledge the fear of what is actually going to happen if I let go. Am I making the right decision, or am I making the wrong decision? But then you need to also ask yourself, what is scarier? Is it scarier to stay stuck and never, ever get to realize your dreams, or the value that you believe that you bring, or the expansion of all that you desire, or letting go and giving yourself the chance to grow and blossom into all that you were created to be? Setting boundaries is something that we need to do. Boundaries are a form of self-love. Now, all things considered, some people use boundaries in a way that also doesn't serve them. But when done correctly, boundaries are a form of self-love. Being able to set healthy boundaries with people or situations. Being able to gradually take the necessary steps to remove yourself from things or people or situations that drain you. And then lastly, creating a space for new. So not just removing the old, but thinking about the fact that you're not losing anything, but you're making room for the new energy, the new people, and the new opportunities that's ready to come to you. You'll eventually start to notice things changing around you as you start changing and shifting. For example, I just mentioned that years ago, if someone would have done something to me, I wanted to show up to tell them and show them how much I had done for them and why they were wrong. And in this particular situation, I was like, yeah, I don't even care. Peace. And you start to notice how different you become because you know that you're ready for new and better things. So you're not just releasing something for your life. Again, you're creating something that is ready to come next. Something that's hopefully aligned with your vision and the growth that you have for yourself. And I know that I talked about the fear, but sometimes I think that people align letting go with giving up or a failure. But if I could help you reframe it as making a decision to honor your personal growth by stepping away from what's no longer contributing to your goals and desires, that might be a little bit of a better way to think about it. In my story, I shared how even though I was dragging my feet about letting it go, the universe stepped in and handled it in a way that I could not have ever planned. And while the situation did sting at first, the relief that followed was undeniable. And then what followed was even more amazing. So I was trying to hold on to one thing, but once it was let go, it was replaced with not only multiple things, but better for me. So this means that if you're looking for greater and better, then you have to assess what is in the place now that I still have that I need to do away with in order to get what I want. And it doesn't really matter what it is, right? You could be desiring a new car. Know that you need one. But at the same time, it's like, oh, but I don't want a car note. Oh, I don't want to do the interest rates. Oh, but blah, blah, blah. And you have all of these excuses. And so while part of you desires a new and better car, there's a bigger side of you that's not willing to part with the car that you already have. I remember when I was getting ready to move, and a large part of me was wondering, should I move? Everywhere else looks so much more expensive. I'm going to have to pay this much more. I'm not going to have this support. I'm not going to fill in the blank. And it was almost like I was talking myself out of moving. I had fear of, what if I end up in a bad neighborhood? Or what if I need help with this? Like I had so many what ifs and none of them were good. But then I had to check myself to say, I'm already not happy where I am. And why am I creating what ifs that's going to actually keep me stuck? Then creating what ifs that contribute to the possibility of my desire. And so I always think about that just as people in general. Why do we always create the negative what ifs and refuse to create the positive what ifs? So for this week, I think it would be justified to have the homework be to take a self-audit of your life and of yourself and your situations and ponder the people and the situations that we're holding on to that's most likely keeping us stuck and stagnant. What are those negative thoughts that we're attaching to not doing something that's going to better serve us, causing us to stay stuck and stagnant? Sometimes when we're looking for these big opportunities, whether it's more money or a better position in our careers or whatever our heart desires, we tend to wonder why it's not happening yet. And we tend to pray or maybe even ask out loud like, oh, why why is everyone else getting this and why not me? And I'd like to believe it's because you haven't made yourself ready and available. And so what do I mean when I say you haven't made yourself ready and available? You haven't chosen to remove those things that aren't serving you. You're trying to find a way to straddle the line and keep what you have and get something new. But if you've ever heard of the phrase, you can't pour new wine into old wineskins, then you'd understand that it's actually quite biblical that you absolutely must do away with the old in order to embrace something new. So as we come to a close today, I actually hope this episode gave you the push that you needed to deeply reflect on what is truly serving your growth and what are the things that's absolutely holding you back. You have everything inside of you to be able to make these decisions and move forward. And trust me when I tell you that once you start releasing what no longer serves you, and I'm not saying that it's easy, but you'll be amazed at how much space you create for what's actually meant to come into your life. As I would tell any of my clients that I would coach, growth isn't linear. Your progress is never linear, and you don't have to have everything all figured out right now. But what I do hope is that you walk away from this episode feeling so much more empowered to be able to take control of your journey. Keep prioritizing yourself, your peace, and your dreams. I will catch you all in the next episode. Thank you for joining me in the Educator Sanctuary, where we create a space for women educators to reclaim their power and prioritize themselves unapologetically. If you've loved what you've heard, please do not forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with other amazing women who need to hear this message. Until next time, remember, you are capable, you are powerful, and you are absolutely worthy. You've got this. Talk soon.